Welcome back sa isa na namang episode ng Pretty Petty the Podcast. I'm your host, Tito Alvin, and in this podcast, we talk about the hottest topics, trending issues, and everything pretty and petty. So kung first time mo dito, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button. Diyan sa baba, click nyo na. And click na rin yung notification bell para notified ka sa mga bagong episodes. If you're listening naman sa Spotify, you can follow our podcast there by going back to the main page, then click nyo lang yung follow button. You can also follow our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok pages by going to the link you see at the bottom of your screen. Ngayon, every time na may nangyayaring violent incident involving the youth, parang may pattern tayong nakikita. Parang kailangan kasi laging merong sisihin. And somehow, video games always find themselves in the middle of the conversation. That's exactly what's happening ngayon after the tragic school shooting in Tacloban involving minor students. Habang iniimbestigahan kung ano ba ang talagang nangyari, one game kept coming up over and over again. At yan ay ang Gorebox. Ang Gorebox ay isang sandbox game that's known for its graphic violence and realistic physics. Because of that, umabot na rin ang usapin na to sa Senate. Si Senator Risa Ontiveros recently invited the developer of Gorebox to appear as a resource person in the hearing. And before ng kung ano-anong conclusions ang mababasa natin online, let's clear something up. I think naging usap-usapan sa social media si Senator Risa for saying that she is planning to ban these games, but according to her, she clarified that the purpose of the hearing is to better understand how the game works, what safety measures are in place, and how minors are able to access it. Not really a total ban of video games. And honestly, I think that's fair. Kung may nangyayaring ganito kabigat, of course, kailangan natin magtanong. Kailangan alamin natin kung may naging role ba ang isang application or ang isang platform or ang isang video game. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. Pero here's the question that I think deserves just as much attention. Tinatanong ba natin yung mga tamang tanong? Kasi every time na lang that something like this happens, parang ang bilis nating humanap ng isang bagay na pwedeng sisihin. Video games, social media, movies, even music. It's almost as if we're hoping that if we remove one thing, magiging poof, mawawala na rin lahat ng problema. Pero what if that's not how it works? What if blaming the game is simply the easiest answer, but not the most accurate one? Ba? Kasi let's be honest, it's much easier to point at a game than to talk about bullying. Tama? Mas madaling sisihin ng app kaysa pag-usapan ng isolation. It's easier to debate whether a game should exist than to ask why a child reached that point in the first place. And this is what this episode is all about. Hindi kung dapat bang iban ang Gorebox or other similar games, but whether we're focusing on the wrong target. Because if we're looking at the screen the whole time, we might be missing everything that's happening behind it. Ngayon, the more I thought about this issue, the more I realized, parang nakita na natin to before. Diba? Actually, ilang beses na. Every generation seems to have its own quote-unquote public enemy. Ba? Back in the 1950s, comic books were blamed for juvenile delinquency. People genuinely believed that violent comics were turning kids into criminals. Ngayon, fast forward tayo sa 80s. Suddenly, naging Dungeons and Dragons naman. There were parents who believed the game was encouraging kids to worship the devil or lose touch with reality. Fast forward tayo ulit, 90s. Panahon ng heavy metal, grunge music at violent movies. When games like Doom and Mortal Kombat became popular, the conversation shifted again. No, these games are too violent. They're teaching kids to kill. They're desensitizing an entire generation. Sounds familiar? Because ngayon, parang pareho lang ang script. Iba lang ang headline, iba lang ang title. Kasi ngayon, it's Gorebox. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying people shouldn't be concerned. If a game contains graphic violence, it's completely reasonable to ask whether children should be playing it in the first place. That's why meron tayong age ratings. That's why parental controls exists. And that's exactly why parents need to know what their kids are consuming online. Pero magkaibang usapan na yun. The question of should kids be playing this game is very different from did this game cause someone to become violent? Again, two different conversations. And sometimes, I think we accidentally mix them together. Napaghahalo natin yung dalawang yan. Because yes, not every game is appropriate for children. Pero that doesn't automatically mean the game is responsible for the real-world tragedy. Diba? Again, two different claims. And history has shown us something interesting kasi every time society faces something scary and difficult to explain, we tend to look for the newest form of entertainment and ask, ito ba ang reason dahil dyan? Is this the reason? Maybe because that's the easier conversation. Because if the answer is simply ban the game, then the solution sounds easy too. But what if the real problem isn't something you can just uninstall? Now, let's talk about the question that everyone seems to be asking. Can violent video games actually make someone violent in real life? Now, at first glance, parang andali lang ng sagot. Siyempre, kung puro violence ang nakikita mo sa screen, baka isipin mo eventually ma-adapt mo rin yan sa totoong buhay. Pero ang reality, hindi yan ganun kasimple. Over the years, maraming studies na ang ginawa tungkol dyan. And hanggang ngayon, wala pa rin namang clear consensus na nagsasabing violent games or violent video games directly cause people to commit violent crimes in real life. In other words, hindi pa rin napapatunayan na ang paglalaro ng violent games ang dahilan kung bakit naging marahas ang isang tao. And honestly, common sense na rin minsan na magsasabi sa'yo, isipin mo na lang, ilang milyon ang lumaki sa larong Counter-Strike, sa Doom, sa Mortal Kombat, sa Grand Theft Auto, sa Call of Duty. Nako, gano'n yung kadami. Kasi isama nyo na ako. Lahat ng larong yan, halos every generation may nagsasabing ito ang sisira sa kabataan. Pero yung mga tao naglaro niyan noon, asan sila ngayon? Most of us grew up, graduated, found jobs, started businesses, built families, at naging normal na members ng society. Hindi naman naging serial killer, di ba? Dahil nakipagbari lang sa Counter-Strike. Hindi tayo naging kriminal dahil lang naka-fatality tayo sa Mortal Kombat. Kung ang video games ang direct cause ng violence, di sana kalahati ng millennials meron ng criminal records. Diba? Obviously, hindi ganun na nangyari. Now, before may mag-comment sa inyo na so sinasabi mo ba ang harmless ang video games? Hindi din. Again, magkaiba yon. Hindi porket sinasabi nating walang direct link sa real-world violence, ibig sabihin, okay na agad kahit anong laro sa kahit anong edad. Kaya nga, may age ratings ang mga video games. May reason kung bakit may mga larong rated for adults at may mga larong pwede sa mas batang audience. Hindi lahat ng laro para sa lahat ng edad. At kaya dapat alam ng mga magulang kung ano ang nilalaro ng mga anak nila. A game that's made for adults should not automatically end up in the hands of a 10-year-old. Valid concern yon. Pero ang sinasabi ko lang, let's not confuse this game isn't appropriate for children with this game caused a child to commit violence. Those are two completely different statements. At kapag minekos-mekos natin yung dalawang yan, we will end up chasing the wrong answer. Kasi kung ang buong diskusyon umiikot sa video games lang, bakit hindi natin napapansin na may mas malalaking problema na dapat natin pag-usapan? So ngayon, if the violent video games aren't the main issue, then what should we actually be talking about? Because when experts study cases like school shootings, hindi naman isang factor lang ang paulit-ulit na lumalabas. It's rarely just one thing. Madalas, it's a combination. May factor ang bullying, social isolation, mental health struggles, exposure to toxic online communities, sometimes even online grooming or manipulation. Sa ibang bansa, mayroon pang factor ng easy access to firearms. Hindi mo pwedeng i-compress lahat yan into one answer and simply say, it's because of the video game. Kasi kung ganun lang yan kasimple, ang problema, matagal na sanang naayos. Ba? And here's something that bothers me. Kapag ang buong usapan, umiikot lang sa laro, parang nawawala sa spotlight yung mga difficult topics to talk about. Ito bang batang to na bully? Ito bang batang to ay isang bully? May napapansin na bang warning signs ang mga tao sa paligid niya? Was anybody checking on their mental and emotional well-being? Sino ang kinakausap niyan online? Ano ang ginagawa ng mga platform para protektahan ang mga bata? Asan tayo mga adults? Because at the end of the day, children will not raise themselves. Hindi din trabaho ng video game ang trabaho ng isang magulang. Hindi trabaho ng internet ang trabaho ng magulang. At lalong hindi trabaho ng isang application ang magturo sa bata ng tama at mali. That's our job. As parents, as teachers, as schools, as communities, and yes, as government institution. Kasi protecting children doesn't start after a tragedy happens. It starts long before that. Sa loob ng bahay, sa classroom, sa pakikinig, sa pag-aalaga, sa pagbibigay ng safe space para magsalita ang isang batang matagal nang humihingi ng tulong. Unfortunately, walang nakakapansin. Kaya for me, we should absolutely investigate what happened. We should ask difficult questions. We should examine the role of games, social media, online platforms, lahat yan. Pero sana, wag tayong tumigil dyan. Because if we make video games the main villain in every tragedy, we might end up fixing the easiest problem instead of the real one. Because every minute we spend arguing about the game is another minute we're not talking about bullying, isolation, online grooming, and adults who failed to protect these children. And for me, that's the conversation we can't afford to ignore. Ngayon, at the end of the day, this episode isn't about defending Gorebox or saying bad things against Senri. It's definitely not about saying violent video games are for everyone. If a game is intended for adults, then kids should not be playing it. That's common sense. Parents have a responsibility, developers have a responsibility, platforms have a responsibility, and the government has a responsibility too. Pero sana, habang ginagawa natin lahat yan, huwag nating kalimutan kung ano yung goal natin. The goal isn't just to find someone or something to blame. The goal is to make sure that this scenario, this shooting or whatnot, doesn't happen again. Because after every tragedy, we all want answers. Gusto natin ng isang dahilan, gusto natin isang bagay na pwedeng ituro at sabihin, yan ang kasalanan niyan yan ang may gawa niyan . Pero ang totoo, real life is never that simple. Sometimes the hardest questions doesn't have just a single answer. At kung masyado tayong nakafocus sa paghahanap ng isang culprit or isang bagay na masisisi, baka ma-overlook natin ang mas malalaking problema na matagal nang nandyan. No? Again, bullying, isolation, online grooming, mental health, and whatnot. The safety nets that should have been there long before a tragedy happened. Because if we really want to protect our children, that's where the conversation needs to start. Hindi pagtapos ng mga headlines. Hindi pagtapos ng mga hearing. And definitely not another tragedy. Okay? What do you think, guys? No? Do you think that violent video games play a role in shaping behavior? Or are we putting too much focus on the games while ignoring the bigger issues? Okay, share your thoughts in the comments below. No, I really love to hear your perspective. So, diyan ko na tatapusin ang episode natin today. So, please don't forget to like and share this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our podcast on Spotify. Please follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok by going to the link you see at the bottom of your screen or just go to linktr.ee/PTPettyThePodcast. Kung isa ka namang brand looking for partnership and collaboration, please send me an email at prettypettythepodcast@gmail.com. And with that, lagi nating tatandaan to always stay pretty at huwag maging petty. Bye!